Okay, I'm good here. Is Mike okay?
I'm waiting on you.
Okay. All right, good evening. It is 6:32, September 8th. I'd like to open the meeting for the Billings Conservation Commission. This meeting is available using the Zoom application for public comments and questions with a time limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Please note, this meeting is being recorded. Thank you. If we could stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Staff present this evening, Isabel Torcantonis, Mike DeVito, and Christina Bernard. Commission members this evening are Joanne Giovanni, Diane DePasso, myself, Bill Mullins, Jack Bowen, Jeff Cannell, and Tom Nelson. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns not pertaining to any items on tonight's agenda, either in the room or online? Nothing online. Okay, then we are ready to go at 6:33. And first agenda item is the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Billings Wetlands Protection Bylaw Wetlands Hearing, Notice of Intent, public hearing for 37 Fremont Road, applicant Tom and Margaret Tracy, DEP file number 109-1607, BBL 1607.
Hi, for the record, my name is Anthony G. Here to read applicants, or applicants, comment.
Is it Christina, is it HDMI?
OPS.
Well, he's actually using a thumb drive, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yep,
Right there.
there you go.
So,
All right. As we see here, it is 37 Tremont Road, and remediation was conducted in April of 2025. Finding a forested wetland, slash shrubby wetland associated with the low line of the area, primarily dominated in like red maple and yellow story and invasive species as well. Invasive Japanese knotweed and those florals within the wetlands and immediately upgrade. The proposed construction will happen will be raising of an existing deck for the replacement of an addition that occur within the road. But those are any 100-foot and the 100-foot buffer zone with for vegetated wetlands. I apologize, that really off just a little bit. The impervious on site. As we see, the site is very narrow. Totaling about 5,000 square feet total. There's slight slopes downwards towards the wetlands. Towards the back, all work is proposed within existing lawn and deck. Impervious surfaces on site are only to increase by 249 square feet within the buffer zones. Because of this, we are officially requesting a waiver from the bylaw due to the nature of the 25-foot pit throughout the vast majority of a large swath of the property. With very few feasible options to be located otherwise. Other than that, the removal of one tree is proposed. to achieve the proposed condition with replacement of 2 flowering dogwoods and a maple and pine on this bottom of the property. With that, I would open up to the commission for any comments or questions related to that.
Yeah, so, the DEP did issue a file number and submitted comments. The DEP comments consisted of, the commission should consider requiring a larger area of natural vegetation along the BVW boundary as allowed under 310 CMR 1053-1. So that's on record. We agree with the wetlands delineation, inner buffer zone. And the wetland boundary, I'd say, right, consists of Japanese knotweed. And which is actually throughout it spreads to the property, on the south side. With regards to stormwater management, we did provide, comments early on, and noted that the commission typically requires, or even the bylaw, and at this rate too, under the stormwater regulations, the local regulations for Billerica, requires that impervious surface area be infiltrated, especially new. And you can tie in existing. That'd be great. It's not on the plan right now. The plan does not include any degree of restoration of inner buffer zone, or visual barrier that's typically required in plans. We did, speak to the applicant's representative, Anthony, about, it is replacing the existing, the proposal is to replace the existing deck, but there's a slight encroachment or located further located closer to the wetland than existing conditions. So, we recommend that they just assess, alternatives. It's probably I don't know if the layout would accommodate,
Yeah, a lot of it,
or zoning and things like that, so we just asked that be considered, or would be a question from the commission. We indicated a construction sequence plan, should be on the plan, the impervious surface calcs. A reference to the variance on the plan, so work is within the 25 foot. And, restoration to mitigate that. We spoke about the visual barrier. Staging and staging of materials and stockpile should be added to the plan. The scale should be assessed, it's based on our review, it didn't appear correct. And again, we did acknowledge that the addition is closer to the wetland than the existing conditions, so that the commission be advised, would, require, at least alternatives to be investigated and why it couldn't be located anywhere else. The datum should be on the plan for green engineering and location, and then if any revisions are being made to the plan, to add the DEP file number to the plan. And finally, just stormwater infiltration for any new impervious surface area. Required under the regulations.
just to answer some of those, vineyard engineering, people who provide the plan are at work, making the necessary revisions today. I want to make sure to come in, ensure that, the comments addressed by conservation, they match kind of what the commission would like, and if the commission would like anything additional, or if we can answer any questions today, make sure we can go over. Would be great. We also, the applicants are in the audience today, so we can also address if, stormwater management or vector restoration.
Perfect. But that's it for staff review comments as far as what we relate to you and, what the commission typically requires.
Well, additionally, when I was on site, I did speak with the homeowner and he said that there is like 2 trees that are basically leaning over the existing deck. So that would obviously kind of need to be taken care of with construction. So I was telling him that basically like mitigation for the trees coming down would have to occur, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the one off the, we are, that on the corner. To be replaced, it's a red maple, it's to be replaced by, it's a, it's one of the landscaping red maples, right by the deck, replaced by a native red maple. Off of the, within the property, I am aware of the, and it's because the north now. That can also, of course, be replaced in kind in the same location.
So yeah, the commission would need to know, the species and the minimum height ranges from 4 to 6 feet. You know, I think clarifying to the commission if the whole tree needs to come down, if it's that close, and then they may want to. Or if it's just trimming or so forth, so that's a good opportunity to clarify now. Okay. And that's it, just after a few comments, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Most of the things Isabel went over that are missing from the plan are there. So she looked at stuff from the list, right? There's, yeah, okay, so there you go. The property is fairly flat, but there are no grades on this.
No, the property is actually relatively, kind of pretty open, relatively heavily. Gradual slope, yes. The rear, the deck is raised, the deck is raised on piles, to note, the addition would also be pile supported. As like the deck, not to, it would be supported by foundation, would be pile supported.
All right, so that's my other question. So how is the addition going to be constructed on filings?
Yes,
So no foundation. That should be noted somewhere here too, then.
yes.
So that
it's-
wasn't clear what was going on.
Yes, it is detailed within the note of that, that the proposed addition is to be supported by, piling sonotubes. Just to kind of reduce the overall underground footprint.
Well, that needs to be clarified in. Yeah, there's no construction sequence and stuff, so that.
Yes.
So there's anyhow, but what about, so you're saying that there's no grade change?
There shouldn't be, as, there is a grade change, as, you know, from the front of the property to the rear of the property,
Yeah.
it's not detailed in the plan.
It should be overlaid on this. So
Yeah.
you have to put that on there too, please.
Yeah, I'll let, bid engineer, show it to everything.
All right, thank you. And also clarify how this is going to be constructed. Because that makes a difference to me as to whether it's raised or if there was going to be a foundation.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. And as another thing that I noted, but I think it's been mentioned is that, we usually have some stormwater management of some sort, usually picked up, especially on the new addition part.
Yeah.
So you can tie in the gutters to the new one and then have it infiltrated somehow,
Yeah.
would be great.
You could definitely have a conversation, sorry.
When I went out there, we usually like to have kind of marked in the ground where the addition is going to be, how far, there was nothing there, so. Diane was, and I were together, so she was doing pacing, pacing off, so, that really should be something in some stakes or something, so we
Yeah.
know exactly where it was, we weren't sure how far out, because the scale's not right, how far out, from the original. You know, the new addition's going to be. And, yeah, I'd be interested.
The addition is essentially supposed to almost, completely encapsulate the existing deck. There's it was small, jut up from the deck, but basically, for the means of simplicity, the deck is, almost.
Almost the same size.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be,
That part of the rear portion, which.
Yeah.
This portion of the deck here will be removed and,
Right.
directed position.
yeah, this part, the line would be a little bit more this way, but that's what we, obviously, we've been doing this a long time to make assumptions, but it is easier when we go out there.
Yes.
And we do ask that that be done if you're trying to check out this evening, but, so that's it, and. What is the addition going to be, what is the purpose of the addition, is it kitchen, dining room, living room, do you know what the use will be for the addition?
Great room,
Okay,
Like a living room.
like a living room,
okay,
just for
where,
the record to identify
where's
yourself.
the water, yes,
Tom Tracy.
Margaret
Thank you.
okay, the owners, thank you.
Thanks.
So it's just in.
Just to make the house a little bit more room.
Yeah.
So we don't really use our deck.
at all, because it's so close to the wetlands and during the summertime, it's a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah,
So we just wanted to make the house, the inside of the house a little larger. To have a
Okay.
bigger room, so.
all right. The reason I'm asking is because sometimes if it's as Isabel said, yes, you're within the buffer zone, you're gonna be asked, like, sometimes maybe you might wanna give it some thought, maybe you might wanna come out around or whatever, but sometimes if it's a bathroom or a kitchen that has to back up the plumbing,
No,
we understand that kind of stuff, we try to take that into consideration, we're gonna,
no,
and,
The note is architecturally, like, the tie in elsewhere on the property would. Require some architectural, like, change within the house as well. Just, this is an alternative or the, like, version goes to the house.
okay, so when you have the variance, which I know you did put in here, there's a section that talks about alternative analysis, but I don't know who the architect was, who else looked at that, so you should have given us an explanation as to why this design and as I said, let this be as an example, sometimes somebody's expanding the kitchen and they have to use existing plumbing. And maybe we can give it on that side of the house, the bedrooms are, the kitchen's like that, but so if you could just give us
Perfect, I can.
as to,
Yeah,
you know,
anything else, sorry, or I can provide it in version here now. That will-
yeah, no, this will have to be.
Right.
written.
Yes, of course, I can provide it full.
And then the elephant in the room, of course, is the wetland line, and then no alterations on the buffer, vegetated buffer. We understand this is really tight, and I was there at your property, and couple of things, you know, the two canoes will have to come out from where they are, and find a new place from. There was some debris off, you know, that actually in the wetland, that would be conditioned to clean it up, those types of things. But usually we don't want people mowing right down to the wetlands. And we usually, I mean, it's a 25-foot no alteration zone, which is, yeah, would not be. It's not possible on this property, so we understand that, so, but we look for something, so you won't be mowing down. You know, I'll just speak for myself, I mean, I would be appreciative if you could even give us, you know, up here. The tight area where you're, what is that, A6,
A6, yes.
yeah, through that area, I know it's gonna be your tightest area, right?
Yeah.
So even if you just give, you know. I doubt that you even have like 5 feet on that side, it's probably roughly from the new addition to the wetland line, it's probably about 5 feet, is that?
It's close.
Yeah, so I would say if you could pick up like even 2 feet, but then maybe try to pick up as you're coming along to the back. You know, pick up, at least I'd like to see a 5-foot buffer somewhere. No, where the wetland line is.
Up here.
You can't,
Yeah.
8, 4, 5. And then in the back here where it says, one's off site, right? So A2 and A3.
Yeah, A1 is kind of blown, but.
Yeah, I have it on my plan, I
Yeah.
can see it, but then you see where your A2 is and your A3 and A4. I mean, that gives you a little bit more room, it's not that you won't have your yard, it's just it's gonna be vegetated, which you have back there, you know, but of, some buffer zone species.
The issue, yeah, there is an issue we want to think with here, because if we were to let this area revegetate, like naturally, let this area naturalize. That there's essentially a wall of knotweed off this rear end of the property. Especially surrounding A1, 2, 3, and then as we get into over here, and then in this area, we
Yeah,
find.
not really a tough thing to
Yeah.
do.
And then here we find a lot of multi-floor rows and stuff of that nature.
Well, maybe some of it might be when you have the excavator in there, and Isabel can talk more of this, maybe the mitigation, although you're going to have to do some buffer.
Yeah.
And then we want, you know, a visual barrier, usually you have to do a post and rail fence.
Yeah,
With some
I think that's being added.
Which we give you the little tags for it, but maybe some mitigation would be, you're not the wetland scientist?
I am.
Okay, so you understand what it is. Maybe the mitigation will be, when you get the excavator, they're trying to take out some of the. To a certain extent, and then we could have just throw down some conservation seed mix.
Yeah.
And usually do a couple of natural plantings and hope that they kind of.
Yeah,
Go
sure,
back
yeah.
to,
My point though is that a lot of this occurs off property,
Yeah.
although it does, part of it does, I'm correct. And remember right, some of it may fall within the conservation restriction, a lot of the knotweed occurs right offsite.
yeah,
Uh,
well, we're not asking you to go out,
Oh, yeah,
site,
of course.
you know, I'm not asking you to do that, but what you can do on site, create some sort of. No alteration, you can't do 25 feet, I understand. I don't even know that side, you couldn't even leave this 5 feet, I understand a couple of feet, and then try to widen it out as you come along and try to get something at least up to 5, or if you can do 7, something, this is just
Yeah, I can,
Yeah.
but
5 feet or something.
5 or 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to design something, we can't design it for you, but,
yeah,
just try to
we
get,
can design a, mitigation and, we can design a full mitigation plan.
yeah, you could do that. I mean, I perfectly understand why you want the addition, it would be very nice, you know, and I can understand about the mosquitoes being that close. But it's good to hear that it's gonna be done on pilings and not their foundation, but.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Diane?
Yeah, a lot of my comments have been, covered, but a couple other ones, the area underneath the proposed addition, what's the plan for that? I know there's an entrance to the basement, I assume it goes to the basement down there, is that staying?
Yes.
Yes, okay, and are you planning to maintain a gravel area outside of that, underneath the addition?
Well, that was the proposed plan by the builder.
To keep it a gravel,
Yeah, but
okay,
we can, open the options.
no, I would rather see it kept gravel, because I need infiltration underneath there, and
No.
it doesn't become a gravelous area underneath it, so that's good. I agree with Joanne about, I mean, in a perfect world, we'd be getting the 25-foot no alteration zone there, but, that would go through your house, and that wouldn't work out so well. And I'm okay with, starting, narrow up by A6, but, broadening out to, 7 or 8 feet as you come around,
Yeah.
those 8 too. And, I mean, Japanese knotweed, I know is a horrible plant, but, in terms of mitigation, given where this is, that's a good proposal for mitigation, is to try to get some of that under control.
Yeah, of course,
in
there
that
is a
area.
good amount that occurs on this northern end
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
which could be possibly dealt with.
okay, good. Yeah, and within that restored buffer zone, some plantings as the answer to the question.
Of
Yeah,
course, yes.
yeah, and I think the topography that you need for the grades and stuff was already mentioned also. Stakes, yeah, and one of the other things, I know the scale was off on this, but if you could add the distance of the corner of the proposed addition to the edge of the wetland, that would be good. I mean, I know you have 10.1 on there for it will impact the corner to property line. But if you could let us know what the difference is between the addition and the BD line.
Oh, between A6 and it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, or the line, the closest point of BDW to the addition.
Yeah.
Okay, alternatives now, we mentioned the states of the field. I think I'm all set, thank you, Evan, thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Jack.
If you're standing in the front of the building, to your right, 2 trees that are leaning in the back there. I hate to see trees go down, but I think if I were looking for it, I would suggest getting rid of those 2 trees and the one in the corner on the left-hand side as well. You just can't prune some of those things, but you're, where they're leaning, you're gonna have trouble, if not, 5 years from now, you'll be getting someone to take it off the roof.
Yeah, that's definitely,
So I'd rather see you address it now.
yeah,
What are you gonna do and how are you gonna replace them?
yeah, I think those trees are replaced, more detail on the vineyard plan that to be moved in before we can, work this long. And that's very detailed plan.
Other than that, I'm all set.
Jeff,
Good for now, thank you.
Tom?
I'm all set too, thank you.
Myself can give quite a list and like everything.
I do have one more question.
Surprise, surprise, right? If you could add the house dimensions on the existing house, we would like to see that. on the
Yeah,
plan, too.
that's also.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay. Questions, comments from the audience? Okay, Joanne.
I was just on our list, did we say for the butters on the queue?
I think they're on.
They're on, yeah, they're all on. Okay, good. I guess they don't. See that. This one? Okay, I do. So if I do this one now. I see. No questions, then, all right, then we're gonna make a motion to continue. I gotta look at the dates. The next one is Anthony, next one's the 22nd, which we have to have everything in by.
Right,
I do, but so.
so you need it by the September,
September 15.
yeah,
We have to have it all turned around by September 15th.
Yeah, Vineyard, as a drafting it very recently, I just need to stand to make it through a restoration plan.
All right, so then,
Yes. You can hear.
continue to the 22nd?
Yes, please.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we continue the hearing for 37 Fairmont Street, applicants on in Martin Tracy, file number 109-1607 and BBL 1607 to 9/22.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we gave you quite a list, Anthony,
Yeah.
if you want to revise, review it again, I just try to get a whole life and go over all there.
I also written that,
Okay, there's a,
but I was definitely getting that with,
yeah, make sure you log in there this time so we can hopefully.
yeah, it was just, we could get it, we get his names. But other than that, so you know, we could go.
Carmella.
Nothing. Or that. This one that's the first one. Yeah.
really good behind that.
And it's 59, next item, Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Bill Ricker Wetlands Protection Bylaw Wetland Hearing. Notice of intent, public hearing, 29 Boston Road. Applicant Janice and John. The EP file number 109-608, BL 1608.
Hi, good evening. Maureen Harold from North Environment Services here. Applicant. I have a few large plans, large property plans, if anybody from the commission wants. Otherwise, no, it was same good stuff. Okay. Alright. So this is the former 31 Boston Road. That's been subdivided into 2 lots. Oh, I think so. Right.
There's punch.
There. That. Okay. So, this project proposes for, number 29, we're proposing to raise a barn, clear vegetation, install rooftop infiltration, grading lawn area, install a post and rail fence with signage within the 100-foot buffer zone. So this is a buffer zone project. There's no perennial streams located on or near the lot. The property is not located within natural heritage mapping and of estimated or priority habitat. The site is not located within bordering land subject to flooding or the 100-year floodplain. But the rear of the property is located within Bill Ricker's green engineering floodplain. We are proposing no work within the green engineering floodplain. The project complies 100% with your local regulations for providing a 50-foot no disturb. We are not proposing any new impervious areas within the buffer zone. We are proposing to raise a 600 square foot barn that is located on the property. This is better. So we're proposing to raise this. And we are proposing to allow this area to manifest. So I'll post an address. And I can open it up to the commission with any questions or concerns. We did receive an file number and no.
Commission maybe, limited with this property, permitted projects behind, this property on, Oxford Road. We agree with the wetlands delineation, we inspected that with regards to, notes on the plan. The note has the plans have a lot of information related to septic, which is great, since this would be used for the board of health as well. Just a few additional comments. Typically the commission, and then it might need a sheet too, add a construction sequence plan. Plan or notes, and the limit of the, limit on impervious surface count, so essentially, the existing lot is how much buffer zone. Is on the lot, and what's the existing impervious surface, this is a demo rebuild, so, I don't think compliance with that section of the bylaws problem, but it needs to be clarified on the plan.
Okay.
Reference the variance request on the plan, and that's essentially for work within the 50-foot. No alteration to demo the barn, so we see that, the current plan does show the post and rail fence, and it actually shows a more conservative, inner buffer zone protection when the project is all said and done, which is fantastic for, purposes of the bylaw. However, there usually is a detail on the plan. Okay, it would be a, maybe a sheet of them. Do you plan?
What was the detail?
The whole plan.
Oh, a detail of the post.
Yeah, again, it could be typical, it doesn't have to. We talked about the visual variant, the no alteration zone, the barn. Takes up a substantial area and the limit of work to area to take down the barn will be disturbed. Currently, the proposal is to let the area naturalize. Typically, there's a restoration plan to support that, long seed conservation, wildlife seed mix and, plantings ranging from shrubs to trees. At a certain size, with a list of the different species to help diversify the area. Who and when delineated the plan? I'm sorry, who performed the delineation and when was that completed?
I don't know, I did it, but I didn't have the date at.
I thought maybe I did, because I know usually it's on there, but, this one. EP number, if you have one and you're making revisions to the plan, you just want to have it on there. Especially since there's multiple lots and this is subdivided property.
Yeah.
The dimensions of the deck should be clarified on the plan.
Even though that's outside the buffer zone, I mean, we can add it, it's not a big deal, we have to change our plan.
That's up to the commission. And again, some more specifics on the degree of restoration.
Okay.
Essentially, again, the majority of the project is outside, there is grading, well within the buffer zone. And again, demolition work, but, you know, overall with all the BMPs, infiltration. You know, good redevelopment opportunity. Given the full compliance with guidelines. That's it for staff. Review notes.
Thank you. Joy.
Okay, I just, On the red agenda, we have that there was debris between 8 and 7, so it's right on.
Basically from like the bottom. That's driving inside the bottom.
Well, that needs to be removed, yeah.
Yeah.
So we will just needs any restoration, whatever that, the debris Michael's saying is behind the barn or
Yeah,
the barn is.
It's associated with the bottom.
right, it's just kind of somewhat collapsed, I know one of the barns, it could be this one, I mean, we're gonna take all the junk out of there,
That's what I'm
make it a dynamite lot, so that's not.
Okay, so I just then we expand the. Conservation seat next door to Smith to cover that area too. I'll be honest with you, Martin, I didn't walk back there because it's got poison ivy and all I
It's
have.
a little thick.
All I have to do is drive by it, so I'm like, I did go to park and I could see the condition of the barn and all that, but I did not walk it. Yeah, I'll wait till it's done and I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, that barn is,
Introduce yourself, yeah.
Just your name.
Rick Shanice, I'm the owner.
Yep.
One of the owners of the property, that barn in the back collapsed,
Yeah.
that thing's falling down, that's why there's debris here. So basically what we're doing is cleaning up the.
Take it all
collapse-
out. Yeah.
Collapse barn, that's all it is.
Okay, I just didn't, I didn't know how generous your. Dimensions were of the barn, if it was picking up that all of that area, and I, but you know what I'm saying, if it's a little bit more than that, just include that all in your restoration. Sounds good, other than that, that was the only thing the note had said to let it, naturally. And I do think that, you know, usually, as you know, we usually look for the conservation seed mix and some planting, so that's all I do look for. You also, you can do a narrative, but no, we got the plant, the chart to be on the plan too.
Okay, can I just put it on the plan?
Sure, as long as we understand what it is, you've done it before, sure, so that'd be great. Other than that, it's gonna be a big difference, I've been wondering why this house hasn't come down, it's been like that for a long time. But, those are the only notes that Isabel picked up everything else. So thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the project, just a couple of questions. Maureen, usually you have a separate wetlands report, but it's just buried in part of your narrative, correct?
Yes.
It's part of it. Variance request, I couldn't find that in here, you have, I mean, I know you talked about that, but I didn't see any.
I didn't, so I didn't do a separate 8.5 by 11, variance request. Just because it's kind of easy, right? We're improving it, we just want to take the barn down,
Right,
but I can do that paperwork if it's required.
yeah, just, your short write-up of, the variance, the number that you're requesting, is within 50-foot no alteration zone and
Yeah.
why, and I don't have any problem with it, it's just for consistency with findings and stuff, that's one of the things I'd like to see.
Okay.
And other than that, yeah, you got some serious poison ivy out there and, a lot of debris, but, yeah. It'll be an improvement as to what's there, thank you. That's,
Jack.
I'm all set.
Jeff,
I'm good, thank you.
Tom,
All set also, I think.
also here also. Any questions, comments to audience?
None here.
None online?
Nope.
Okay, well, Maureen, the next meeting is the 22nd, everyone, that be ready for the 15th, how does that look?
Wednesday 15th, is that next Wednesday?
So that's Monday.
Next Monday.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll make a motion that we continue the hearing for 29 Boston Road, Richard East and John Ripper Jr., file number 109-1608 and BBL 1608 through September 22nd.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
great, thank you.
Thank you. And at 7:11. Will the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Bill Ricker Wetlands Protection Bylaw wetland hearing, notice of intent public hearing for 33 Boston Road, applicant Richard Nason, John Ripper Jr. is file number 109-1609, BBL 1609.
Okay, so this is the adjacent lot. We are proposing clearings, grading, lawn area, and installation of a post and rail fence with signage within the 100 zone of the BBW. The construction of the single family dwelling is outside of the 100 buffer zone. Town water, private septic system, it's standard buffer zone projects, I would imagine I'm gonna have very similar comments to the last lot. But I can open it up to the commission with any questions.
Isabel.
Yeah, most of the comments mirror what we just said for lot 2. Typically. Against construction sequence and non surface area counts. Reference to the variance and also clarification. In writing, and essentially, if you, when you submit. The revisions need to go plan, and you could add on their variance request in writing.
This one I don't think needs, oh, well, I guess if, this one I don't think needs a variance.
So there's no debris removal. I know it says allow it's natural ones. I know that area around there is mainly things to flow grass. I don't know if there's 3, it was probably happened in the past.
Right,
But
it's not lawn area, it's grassy kind
all
of,
meadow.
right,
Right.
so I don't know if plantings are necessary for that.
I'll leave it up to the commission, but historically, prior to farming or, the meadow is great too, but, the rest of the wetland and around that wetland system or buffer zone is really a shrub and some trees, but, meadows are great too for pollinators, so that's a discussion for the commission. Staging stockpile should be added to the plan where, exactly and who and when the delineation is completed, the DEP phone number, the visual barrier detail, and again, this site, much like the other one, also has a greater amount of inner buffer zone restoration, although the post and rail fence does continuous with for lot 2, and the post and rail fence looks like it ends, but there's nothing further on that side. Doesn't lot line.
We'll extend that.
Just dimensions, but again, the majority of the work is outside the buffer zone. There is a septic system that's being proposed, and there's a lot of detail on the plan related to that as well. That's it for staff review notes.
Okay, thank you. Joanne?
All right. So. There are going to be other properties and stuff.
The board of health has to review the septic plan. I don't know where that stands.
That's been submitted. It's my understanding.
Okay.
I don't think, Crystal has given an approval yet, but she's reviewed it. And she seems okay with it, but not a decision now.
Yeah. I don't know if Diane has, but if I would say go ahead and we're going to be doing some clearing of debris and stuff. I would just do a restoration plan for this area too. And just submit a variance for that. I don't know what it would like before, and I didn't want that there now.
So it's a grassy type area, so I don't feel like a conservation seed mix would do any good if you're throwing that down on grassy area. So if anything, shrubs and trees, but I like that meadow.
Yeah.
I think it provides, as Isabel said, it provides habitat for pollinators and stuff, and it's valuable.
Could
The
that be
meadows are
enhanced?
few and far between.
It's not that I'm opposed to that, but could it be enhanced?
No, it's dynamite the way it is now. I mean, it's
I don't see
it's
it.
functioning.
I'm kind of looking and see where the picture of it on here. I don't see. All right, I'm going to backside, just putting that out there, and other than that, Isabel has gotten all my notes again. Let me see what it makes.
So, when, on this last page. I'm sorry, Jordan. But you're talking about this is the barn coming down, right?
Right, on the adjacent lot, but it's like this meadowy area and.
Okay.
Oh, they don't need that.
Is this some, I mean, if it's a healthy meadow, function, it should, you know. I think she's done so good at our part. And it's functioning, I don't have a problem leaving it as it is, but during the restoration of the neighboring lot, when you're in there looking at it, and if staff is out there at some point, if, you know, you just confirm that right the way it is, or, you know, we need to add some low shrubs or whatever, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
But that's just me. But if there is debris, I would want the debris come out and, you know, if where any debris was damaging, stuff, have something.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we wanna build some beautiful, nice homes.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
our families, so we're gonna take all that,
Yeah, I think this,
yeah.
those guys. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm all set. Yeah.
I'm all good. Jeff? I'm good, thank you. Tom?
I'm all set, thank you.
Audience or online, question, comment?
None here.
Back to you.
No,
Okay.
so it's, I have no idea, I didn't get to see it, but it's Maureen's word from it, just as Michael, it's like a riding area, so I'll say. Their word for it, so that it's the commission doing that, as Diane said, that we'll leave it as a. It's a meadow, and, but as work is being done, if Isabel, when she's out there, or Michael's out there, I think that needs a little enhancement, then. They give you enough leeway in the condition, do that.
That's fine.
Yeah. So then really there isn't anything further on this one, you can actually close this one.
Well, they need to,
Oh, that's it, so I think that,
Yes.
all right, we'll do the 22nd, yeah,
Please.
yeah, take that.
You make me.
I'm gonna make a motion. Okay, then I will make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 33 Boston Road, the applicant Richard and Denise and Jonathan Virginia's file number 109, 1609, and BBL 1609 for the September 22nd.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is that Jeff?
Jeff?
Yeah, so that's Jeff.
Welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
Night.
Have a good night.
Moving on at 7:19. Next item. Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Billerica Wetlands Protection Bylaw Wetland Hearing. Notice of intent to continue public hearing for 12 Ironwood Street, applicant Sonia and Angel, ETP file number 109 1605, BBL 1605.
Good evening. We Jeff Hannaford for the applicant. At 12 Ironwood. Since we met last. We revised the plans and submitted some information a couple of weeks ago. And I understand that you've had a chance to look that over. And I received some comments from your staff on Friday. So I put together another short round of revised information that I received today. So what I thought is, if you don't mind, I'll just summarize the latest. So we you've looked at what I revised to. So I made note that we discussed that previously, that the applicant has intent to put it in the irrigation well, but at this time, we don't have enough pertinent information on exactly where it's going to be located, the depth and whatnot. I did speak to the company. It will be a shallow well. But Isabel had given me on Friday a list of, the pertinent information you're looking for. And, we don't have time for that. So what I noted was that due to a lack of the exact info, we're not including that in the proposed work for the, order of conditions now. But we would like to, she obviously reserves the right to, when she gets the pertinent info, to submit the, proper paperwork, whether that's an amendment to the existing order or some other type of filing, she will do it. But as of right now, there's no proposed well that's been. Thank you. Isabel also mentioned that, because of the original order of conditions, it was never completely finished, never closed out. That we submit a request for a certificate of compliance for that order of conditions. So you have that in your file. When all the work is said and done, we're assuming that the new order of conditions will include a request for an as-built plan and a letter stating the work was done. That would suffice for both orders, and you'll be able to close out the original order as well. When everything's kind of, they'll file a separate request for COC, but that's as well. So you have that now. Also an operation maintenance plan for both the infiltration trenches that are intended for stormwater mitigation, as well as a small infiltration trench for the pool drainage traffic wash procedures. So you have that now. We revised the titles to the planting plan that I had submitted a couple of weeks ago. That is now known as Notice of Intent Plan Stage 2. You had Notice of Intent Plan Page 1 was filed originally. On page 1 of the NOI, the latest revision included a summarization of the impervious areas. With this project, we're looking at about 5.4% increase, well within the 25% allowed. And I added an infiltration trench detail for the pool drainage backwash. It's basically the same slight difference is it's going to act more like a leaching trench or a septic system where we're going to have a 4-inch rate of pipe running down the center near the top of the trench. The discharge from the pump will empty into the end of that and allow that water to disperse over the entire thing right away. So I think that will get better dispersal. So that's been added. That I think covers the latest revisions and how I think we're at a point where covered not only the comments from the previous meeting, comments from the revisions based on. Also, yes, thank you. Isabel?
I went through the figures that we showed on Friday, I included some commission member, thank you, Joanne, for some of the comments before the meeting, and then we added with the around I'm finding was they received the plan, the edits that we reviewed and I forwarded to the commission. It would be addressed. The matter of the open order of conditions, A request for certificate of compliance was submitted, and there's clarification on where the project stands with that, or any outstanding items. That those outstanding items are gonna get completed as part of this project for site mobilization and so forth, so. Commission can't close out that COC, but you have on record that one was submitted, it's complete. And the plan, the as-built for this will serve as the as-built for both of them. Well, this is the phone number. Phone number 109-1052. So you do have that information on record now for both projects. And as far as all of our other miscellaneous comments, they appear to have been addressed. The commission will include a standard condition addressing dechlorination of pool water prior to discharge. That's a standard condition that's added for all projects that have either an existing pool or outside or a proposed pool. Okay. And on top of that, Jeff, an O&M plan was prepared. And I provided Jeff with that condition, about how to, dechlorinate and discharge of pool water near wetlands, and how that's achieved, and additional information that can be obtained. He also acknowledged the infiltration system that's being installed, where that pool backwash or discharge will go to. And that's all covered in his, user-friendly operation and maintenance plan for the OGA. That's it, staff meeting else.
What?
Okay, so, I'm at the understanding then there's information, additional information that you were going to give us, or you have provided, but the commission actually had some. But, then when you, no, we did, it's on here. Okay.
Should be.
He just submitted it.
You want to see it here?
It's there.
Okay, so I didn't have it in my packet. I didn't have time to go through all this, is that,
We just received it. Today. I emailed Jeff, all of the comments that remain, including some that we have received from commission members. And one of the ones I added was an O&M plan for the homeowner.
all right, so I didn't know the time, I didn't feel that I was having.
It's attached, it's actually.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go on, Bill, because I haven't had a chance to do this, thank you.
Diana?
I was looking through my notes and, it seems like you've addressed my notes, but I do have a question. The plan that you gave us today. There's an infiltration trap, the proposed infiltration trap is 1x2x20, and on this one, it's 1x2x30. Is that full infiltration trench? Okay. Was there a reason you reduced the size of?
Discussions with staff, was thought that at the 30-foot length, it might. Ended up too close to the reclamation that had been done as part of the previous plantings
Okay.
over there, and we didn't wanna disturb that, so we pulled the end of it back, so that, you know, we don't go backwards here, that, yeah, we'll be able to install that. And, the idea of how and why, it looks that way. You'll notice it runs parallel to the contours. So my thought was, I have a quantity of what that trench can handle. Should it surcharge over that, because it's parallel to the contours, the level would rise up in it and it would simply sheet flow through vegetation before it gets to the stream. Right now, it's a point source of discharge to the stream. So, with that, we wanted to keep it away from the vegetation that was reclaimed already and keep it in an area by itself.
So that area downslope from where that infiltration trench, I remember it was really dense back through there. There's no proposal to cut any of that vegetation, so should we add that as condition so that in the future, if a future homeowner or anything, so that they knew they can't go back below the trench to cut any of that vegetation, because it provides a service.
Right.
It helps that system work.
Well, that's.
We're
all
also-
operations on.
No, it's above the visual barrier. Yeah.
Well, that's erosion.
No, yeah, it's above the erosion control, it's that area between the erosion control and the erosion trench. This is the trench.
And we are adding, based on the previous hearing, two signs in front of that. Yep. Where that previous plan was done, we're gonna add two signs there, as well,
Right.
putting them on those that I told not disturb.
Yeah, those are out on.
Yeah.
Farther out, so there's, but below where that trench is,
Right,
it's
yeah,
vegetated now. And we wanna make sure, yeah, we wanna make sure it stays that way,
yeah, have it.
yeah,
Sure.
and we had a condition.
Yeah, of course.
And maybe add a sign.
Yeah.
You know, add
Add
another
some.
sign in there too, just so that, I mean, I know, you know, you're sitting here in here, but future, should anything change. Okay, great, thank you, Jeff, I'm all set.
Jack,
I'm all set.
Jeff,
I'm good, thank you.
Tom,
All set also, thank you.
looks like everything else was resting.
You wanna go now, Joanne?
Well, I did not receive this, so I apologize. Looking at it now, but it appears that you have answered everything. I would have preferred that presentation and type of big on the plan.
Yeah, it was 7.
Restoration. For the no alteration zone, I would have preferred it. All of it listed, like the number of plants, size, everything on the plan for future reference. Just so you know, we have it on the plan, but it appears that it is already, as long as it's referenced to that. Page 2, I think you said. Thank you. So I didn't know.
Any comments, questions from the audience? Online,
No.
nothing,
Alrighty.
and back to you.
All right, so the first thing you have to do is vote on the variance. And that's just section 3.03 C. 3. Which is a 25-foot. And because of all the. Restoration and then the discussion we've had in the last couple of meetings, I think it's a great improvement. We're gonna have additional signage, the food lane will be no longer just putting towards the button, so to that, I'll make a motion that we issue the variance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. And make a motion that we close the hearing for 12 Irons Wood Street, applicant has signed an Angel, found at 109-1605, and UDO 1065, and we add any special conditions that we discussed.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
That was Jack.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think Steve might be at the Board of Health.
Board off right now.
No. Bill,
Bill. Let's see, it's at the Board of Health. right
And he still has to open the meeting.
Okay.
Change it.
oh. Yeah, to be.
Next item. At 7:36. It is the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Bill of the Wetlands Protection. Hearing notice of that continued public hearing, 290 Boston Road. DEP file number 109-1587, BBL 1587.
I'll speak on behalf of Steve for 290, or the 290, right? I'm sorry, it's raging here. Oh, sorry. I stopped doing the applicant submitted applicant's representative, Steve Dresser, submitted a request to continue the hearing to 9/22.
Oh,
You just did it.
oh,
Second,
he said he was gonna be at the Board of Health.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, previously continue. Please.
Who did those? Isabel, who continued those? Who made the motion, who seconded? Okay. You're good, look at you.
Administrative matter.
There's a lot of people. Hi, yes, so there's a number of us here who are,
Could you just identify yourself, please?
Gloria Niebuhr.
Thank you.
Are you here for the Board of Health meeting? Yes. This is the Conservation Commission meeting. Okay, so it says come to room 210 at 720, 6 McHugh Ave, there's a lot, so.
There's a lot of us.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, the
Really.
Board of Health,
Just
the
wondering.
Board of Health is downstairs in the auditorium.
Well, maybe they should address the notice correctly to us.
That's.
Certified letters went out to all of us.
Certified,
Yeah. It's a different board.
I
I
can't.
understand that, but it's sending us
I
here,
can
so.
show you guys where.
You can follow Mike and they'll.
Thank you very much. From this,
I was about to ask, I see a lot of people. that have- and I'm in your-
Let's add towards the reading.
Fran, it's your fault.
What's wrong with it? You know, it's something, there's something.
I was wondering with all these people.
I was too,
I was thinking that they didn't really have the dam, but
I was too.
I was thinking they might have thought the dam.
Okay, so
Did
back
get
to
it.
the agenda.
Administrative matters. At 7:38.
29 Glad Valley.
Sorry, Brian, is there someone, I'm sorry, you are,
My name's Danny Whitten.
Danny Wenton, are you with 28?
Nope.
I'm sorry, who you still with, or before?
No, I'm just here to observe the.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to
Matter
see,
at the end.
for what matter, I'm gonna, I might have to get out of order.
The hundred Chelmsford, but I think it's marked as one Chelmsford. One
Oh,
public
okay,
Chelmsford.
understood, okay, I was just trying to be nice and see if I could.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate
It's
it.
like having full house.
Happy to follow the agenda.
I'm just gonna stick to the agenda. Request for certificate of compliance as built review for 29 Glad Valley. This was for a project that was permitted back on October 15, 2019 for residential garage. There were some items that needed to be addressed, including final sites, stabilization, a final sidewalk, was completed and all items, the RCOC was complete, the as-built was updated and, currently everything appears to be in full compliance, including your engineer statement.
Alright, I'll make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for file number 109-1391 and DBL 1391, 29 Glad Valley Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was fast.
Great,
Yeah, it
thank
was.
you. Next on the agenda is the file number 109-1559, BBL 1559, 7076 Federal Road, which may, is familiar with this property and known as Alabrandi Pond area. You may recall they, added a small, as an addition, it was, a pedestal with some equipment on it. Within the inner buffer zone, they did, include the plantings, put up some environmental placards. The area, the ground surface was not stabilized, they had it mown and seeded, and it was quite sandy. So they recently did a great job, they loaned and seeded, it's not fully stabilized, and it is very much in our buffer zone, close to the wetland boundary, so I anticipate provided they keep watering that, they should be good to go in the first October meeting, but at this time, it's not fully stabilized.
Right, I'll make a motion that the commission take no formal action to approve or deny the request for certificate of compliance for filing 109-1559 and DBL 1559-7076 Travel Cove Road.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Yes, we might submitted the information that was, the packet submitted by the homeowner, we did a fantastic job explaining the 3 trees that are a safety issue, both from, their health standpoint, they're not very healthy, and also they're strongly leaning, to toward the house. And you should have some pictures of that. Yeah. It is overlapping riverfront and a buffer zone and so forth, big trees, we concur that there's a safety issue. The owner is aware that the commission, the town would require 1-to-1 if it's not more, we're very cooperative. Did a great job submitting the information. So what do you want from us? Approval to allow it to proceed under administrative review, provided that there's planting placement as you normally, as the commission requires. Also, just a reminder, the town, at their last town meeting, put in a bylaw for, tree plantings. It's pretty consistent with that, and this is riverfront and Concord River and LCI, so as soon as the chainsaws go off, I'm sure.
So there's nobody here for the game.
No, we told the homeowner he submitted such a great explanation and the photos, I thought it wasn't going on.
All right, I'll make a motion that we instruct Isabel to handle the tree removal at 28 LC Ave administratively, and that the commission will expect that there will be at least a 1-to-1 replication if at Isabel's determination more is needed, then
Second.
your permission to that.
That was John, right?
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Just to, for consistency purposes and with all your other projects, the minimum is 4 to 6 feet. Height trees,
Yep.
and whatever's doing well in that area, silk maples tend to do well around there, ready to go. So we'll just assess it with the homeowner.
Right, we're giving you permission as to handle the replacement.
The next on the agenda, real quick, is the department's review for building occupancy review.
What happened with that?
Yes, so DEP file number 109-157, the DBL 178, it was filed as 56 Dudley Road, it was a lot that was subdivided. And it's identified as 58 Dudley Road.
Okay.
There was a field change that was done, I don't know how long ago, it was during construction of the septic system, and the plan called for a straight retaining wall. And so what was done out there was a boulder type wall, and I did speak to Fran is here and he'll speak to it. He was reminded that we do need to be notified of field changes. We did not have an opportunity to assess it then. So when we're seeing it for the occupancy, it's now a boulder wall, and it is within your no alteration zone boundary, right at the edge of it. The plan shows the no alteration zone, a bit more conservative. Meaning there's extra area. We can't authorize an occupancy permit without your knowledge of other features in the no alteration zone. Septic systems do need to be replaced or repaired. I understand the retaining wall is really the purpose of it in that area is really to serve to hold the liner in place. And I will let Fran speak to that now. Thank you.
Hello, Fran McCarthy, here for 58 Dudley Road, Acacia Corporation. This is the most recent plan. I've only got a few of them, so Joyce,
We also have the proposed plan here, for comparison purposes. You can pass this down for the proposed plan, it's highlighted in yellow. That's all right.
Okay, yeah. All right, so.
So essentially, the purpose of this review is, well, we didn't approve the field change and we don't want any questions or any issues, concerns to come up when the friend goes to submit a request for certificate of compliance, and now we have a new homeowner that has to deal with any field changes unexpectedly. So this is the occupancy. I don't know, do you have a buyer yet?
we did.
Okay, so this is the time to review it and provide any input.
So you were mentioned earlier about, you had to do any work to the septic system. I mean, the bowls are outside of the septic system area. So if we had to do any work, we wouldn't be touching those boulders on the fence that we installed. So none of that had to be disturbed at all. All we did was we used what was existing on the lot. Because the walls only, even on the shows, they may be 18 inches or something, very small. If we didn't have to maintain that 50-foot buffer zone, we could have just continued our grade up to get our grading. So the only reason we built the wall was for breakout for the septic system. So we used the bowls that we had on site that are inside the disturbed. And in fact, I think, we didn't approach it in any way. And as far as Isabel's concerned, whether or not we would have to replace the septic system down the road, or do any repairs, it would be inside the bowl. Those bowls are never gonna be moved. And, quite frankly, they're gonna stay there a lot longer than any retaining wall that you might have built, in those block walls, so. I didn't think it was an issue to change it. I would have mentioned Mike or told Isabel. We didn't even give it a thought, honestly.
Yeah, and I want to just clarify again, you can see that, again, the post rail fence is more conservative. You didn't know, so the issue is that typically you don't allow, well, it's on the wetland side of the post rail fence, however, keep in mind, the boulder and the post rail fence are actually outside the 50-foot, it's more conservative, so this is a special case.
Can I ask a question? Will the board of health have a problem?
What else fine? They saw it.
I'm okay with it. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'm all set. Well, I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Yes, did a quick vote on, approving occupancy.
Okay, I have a motion that we approve occupancy or. But file number 109-1578 ZBL 1578 that we read, that has been supplied, the explanation and a supplemental showing the change in the field. The administrator has observed it and recommends the commission to approve this occupancy.
Second. All in favor?
Can I bring up one?
I want to bring up something before, sorry, that was just, yeah. So the trees on Dudley Road that were supposed to come down, that's been down, you have a plan to restore some of that?
Those old.
I don't know, but it's a scenic road, Fran, and we're supposed to go through an approval process to take those trees down, and I don't think that happened because I would have been notified of it. Cause I'm within a certain distance, so I'm just wondering what the plan is for restoration.
We're talking some trees.
Okay, and they're gonna be nice, big trees, correct?
Well, they'd be as big as both.
Okay, so, yeah, okay.
Well,
That's,
is that same road though?
it is a scenic
So you went
road.
to the planning board for this, right?
No, no,
So you now will have to go to the planning board?
That's. I don't know whether those trees are actually in the right of way. Trees that we took down, where the right of way is right out to the pavement. That road's only, well.
It's, the paved part is a narrow road, but the right of way is to the road, I believe it's wider than what it's paved there. Yeah,
No, I think it's 32 feet wider.
yeah, but I mean, I guess
Two rods, what's a rod, 16 feet?
something like that.
So just for clarification, how many trees were taken down
I don't know how many there were.
along the road?
Yeah, we have one, it's probably six or 8 things.
6 or 8 trees, and so then 6
But
or 8,
they're a small seed.
Okay. so 6 or 8 trees to be replaced.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I figured you would do that, I just wanted to.
And so just one other thing, as far as this, the septic goes on 58, on 60 doesn't.
Oh, that's not on the agenda.
Okay, but I guess
I'm
we
kidding,
got-
I'm kidding.
Well, just to let you know that we did the same, we used the boulder wall on the back of that septic, so we had a break out there as well.
This is the one farther back.
Farther
yeah.
down, and it's on the very back of it, so this is going to raise its head again, so I just wanted to know ahead of time. That's what we did here as well, we just used the rocks that were on the side. Yeah. We didn't send it yet, the as-built plan yet for that. It's for 60, so as soon as we will, Isabel will bring it up.
So you know the buyers,
We do have. There it is.
Okay, and then field changes, notify the department.
I will, I didn't realize that I thought a wall was a wall. Thank you.
Okay, you got it, Fran, and thank you for taking care of the trees.
Don't worry.
I worry about many things
I
right
know.
now, but that's not
Especially the
my
trees.
list, just so you know.
Thanks,
Thank
Fran.
you, have a good night.
Take care, Fran.
Next on the agenda is the matter of, one Chelm Street, it's 100. 100. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I put 1. Is that why you couldn't find the property?
No,
Oh.
the property wasn't.
Oh, there you go.
Walk up, we won't ride it.
100 Chelmsford Road. Alyssa is here, so the property owner, the commission has received a few email updates regarding this violation, as part of due diligence, by, a person of the public regarding the property. We were made aware that a portion of the lot had been cleared and soil had been moved around and wetland potentially filled. At that time, we did speak to the property owner, we conducted a site visit and we verified the presence of wetland and resource areas on site. Including an intermittent stream. The area had been previously disturbed, there's a long history with the site. Previous monitoring, looking at Board of Health records, there's some concern of just minor contamination, but really dealing with movement on the water or discharges that were all addressed. But there was always reference to a brook in the back. So then we conducted a site visit for the property owner, explained that it appeared that one alteration had occurred, including buffer zone. The owner was advised to retain the services of a professional wetlands consultant, and that is Epsilon, it's highly qualified. And Alyssa is here to speak about the violation, extent of alteration, and what the proposed restoration is before the commission.
Alyssa Jacobs with Epsilon Associates, as is well noted, we were retained to investigate the limits of wetlands and wetlands disturbance at 100 Chelmsford Road on behalf of the property owner. There, as is well noted, there's been a history of site disturbance. Obviously, the site primarily developed with the exception of this back quarter of the property, and also is down gradient of, I believe it's Executive Park Road. So this came about in an effort to address some ongoing drainage issues on the property. that this area was regraded and, modified to redirect some of the overland drainage that was coming from the executive park road properties. So through the course of that, there was, some disturbance to the buffer zone and to the wetlands themselves. So Epsilon went out, we did a full delineation of the area of concern. We did soil test pit transects, attempting to determine the limits of any fill that might have been placed. Because of the nature of prior disturbance on site, that what you see on the plan is our best professional judgment of, based on these test pits, of where the higher limits of the wetland were before any fill was added. However, there's multiple surface horizons were discovered within the test pit, so it was fill upon fill upon fill, indicating the historical disturbances that Isabel spoke to. And so what you see on the plan is a proposed restoration to pull back the fill. And during the observation of a professional wetland scientist, so our soil scientist will work with the contractor to observe as that fill is being pulled back to make sure that we're getting back to that original wetland elevation. We did find evidence of like wetland plants buried on site as well, so that will help guide the process to ensure that we're getting back to the pre-existing wetland surface elevation. And then we will seed and plant that filled wetlands. We're estimating it's about 4,000 square feet that could have been filled. It is a little bit hard to tell. There's about 1,000 square feet of wetlands that were disturbed, but they are functioning as wetlands. They're completely vegetated have revegetated as wetlands. And we're not proposing any further disturbance. They were probably just some equipment walk through it. And then also proposing signage at the limits of the 25-foot no disturbance zone, so that the restored area as well as the restored buffer zone area remains protected in the future. Our written plan also includes some notes about work being done under the supervision of a professional scientist, as well as post-restoration monitoring for 2 years and submitting reports to the commission. And we proposed the planting plan of a wetland seed mix, as well as about a dozen shrubs. The wetlands that exist currently that are vegetated, we try to mimic the existing vegetation, so hybrid blueberries, sweet bush, etc. And plant that along the boundaries of the wetland buffer, the wetland boundary. And then the buffer zone restoration, again, will pull back any fill or debris that may be in that area. Mold and seed it with a suitable upland erosion control mix that will germinate quickly and stabilize that area.
This way again.
Yes. Commission, may have received prior notes, and the packet that Epsilon submitted with regards to notes and how the commission deals with violation and restoration. To think this type of, alteration of direct alteration with BBW in your buffer zone. Just a couple of brief comments. Label the intermittent stream on the plans. I'm talking about sheet 1. It is shown on aerial 5, figure 5, but as far as the sheet, the plan that will be used by the contractor for restoration purposes. I did not review, that's something I would do in the field with the wetland scientist, the western property line. It was more focused on area of disturbance. And based on my field observations. And again, this is their best estimate based on
excavation that they've completed to date. I would at least agree that it's over 4,000 square feet of BBW that was impacted. Just to be clear, there's only 12 plantings being proposed within the BBW, and there are no plantings being proposed within the inner buffer zone restoration. And the restoration only appears to extend to where? The 100 foot or no?
Of the buffer zone?
Yeah.
We're proposing to. Well, the plan calls for seating, and we'll make the 25, but.
But nothing beyond that.
Not beyond that, no.
And that's something that the commission would need to authorize. The whole buffer zone was altered. In this case, and cleared. And it's up to the commission where that no alterations would occur as part of a violation. My recommendation would be to have restoration plantings and to do restoration of the buffer zone. Commission would need to decide and determine that and provide guidance tonight so that they can move forward. It's a great time of year to execute restoration. I would also recommend that the restoration work be overseen by Epsilon in the field with our periodic inspection. And also, as with any other restoration and typical for DEP to require 2 full grown seasons of monitoring by a wetland specialist, and that's annual, that's 2 reports, springtime report and a fall time report to the commission. Discussing, and we have a list of what that highlights, but essentially what the condition, how are the plantings going? Is there an introduction of invasive species? And if so, what's their plan to tackle it? And then to have the plan signed and stamped by the wetland scientist as well. And to conclude, or at least certifying at the end of the project or at the end of the monitoring that the wetland was successfully restored. For the benefit. And that's just going over the typical conditions that the insurance requires for restorations. So clarification is extent of plantings. For one, are you okay with the proposed plantings of 12 plantings within BBW?
Where is the list?
It's on the plan. Yeah, it says 3 to 4 feet of high bush blueberry, 6 of them. Sweet pepper bush, 6 of them, 3 to 4 feet.
Seems a little thin, and they're like 30 feet apart, 40 feet apart. I think that's, we usually require a much higher density in restoration things.
Yes, you do, and you also require plantings within buffer zone.
Yeah, so I.
But that was that was some of the information we had provided and input. This ultimately is a plan that's been reviewed and approved by the commission. So I think it's critical that they, or helpful that they meet today with whatever the commission is deciding.
I can note that the vegetation that was removed was predominantly, like fast, early successional plant species like, aspens, making aspen, white pine, etc. Because of the prior disturbance, it was not, full growth, mature trees, it was really shortly type stuff that you can kind of, if you find the site, and see kind of on the other side of what exists currently. We're happy to extend, I believe the seed mix for both the wetland restoration, the wetland seed mix typically contains, seeds for shrubs as well as part of that, so they do start to pop up. And then the planted shrubs are established, it gives you an established planting right away.
So this area that you're showing, I don't, there really isn't a legend on here to say, you have a couple, this area here says approximate limit of wetland resource area, you don't have to plan up there. It's lawn now, and that's what you're going to, then.
Right now I would not characterize it as.
It says lawn on the plan, it's not just that, then.
They might have a full-size plan.
And I saw it says once this, it's a,
So it's herbaceous vegetation.
this is a.
It's not your golf course green, fairway. Yeah, I'm sure, I guess it's what a surveyor might call one.
Okay, so you're being very gracious. Now that she's showing me where pictures go, but, all right. Yeah, I agree with Diana with the rest of you, but this is really very skimpy compared to what we normally would get, especially under enforcement.
What planting density do you typically require?
Well, if we're gonna do this 25-foot buffer, what's existing in this? This is the 25-foot buffer on here, right? Correct. So it really isn't any value in there. Correct. So that's the whole buffer zone. I don't know the actual square footage of it, but.
It looks like this whole area too, based on this area, it looks like this area needs some restoration too. Over up here. And that's this area here.
That area is, I would say, is sufficiently vegetated currently that I wouldn't recommend going back in. And disturbing it. Down to the side of it. It's pretty well vegetated, with a lot of goldenrods, clovers.
Are you talking about this area upland of?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's correct.
Yeah, so I wouldn't, I think the Bears area, I mean, it is revegetating very quickly. Even, I went out on 3 separate occasions over the period of a month, and that's a dramatic difference each time. But I think that it's the desire, the property owner to make sure we can, leave this evening, with a good understanding of and approval of the commission, so, I'd like to, propose whatever planting density, there's 20 foot on center, 15 feet on center. We can certainly augment the shrub list.
I wish we had some actual photographs of the area. Diane and I tried to get on, we didn't realize that we walked in that gravel road.
Wish there were some in my report.
Yeah,
I can pull up some more on the laptop if you'd like to see.
Isabel, what do you suggest for the density of it?
I don't think a dozen shrubs, maybe an area disturbance. Typically, the restoration of inner buffer zone, commission varies from 6 foot to 10 feet on center. That's, kind of smaller residential type areas, isolated areas, for restoration, we've seen, ranging from 15 to 20 feet. And that's BBW, and I would diversify that as well, add more plantings to that. And then buffer zone plantings, and then. So on my notes here, I have the green engineering reference. There is green engineering associated with the property, just reference the map and lot. On map and map number, that's the local green engineering floodplain. That's off a little further to the west here, labeled the intermittent stream. Right
The
now,
green engineering floodplain, which is not on this property.
oh, is it on
I can
the
find the
Route
map.
3 property? Feel like that it was, I don't know.
For the maps you have online, it is a little bit deceiving, but it's actually, it was on executive partner. That property to the north, there wasn't anything, and then along Route 3 again.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought there was something here.
No,
No, you saw the engineering flood maps, not just the GIS layers.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I downloaded those, if you have those,
Okay,
because it was slightly, because I think that was, it was from not taking films hard to do it, I think the driver built, so the tree line was off.
okay.
So it was disorienting when we first looked at it.
Yeah,
So I was trying to match it up.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was just it was an isolated
Yeah.
area anyways. Okay, well then, just clarify that with the note that there's no local or FEMA floodplain on the property, for the property line, so I requested reference on whether or not there's presence of floodplain or not, label the intimate stream. Estimate, please provide an estimate of the BVW that's shown as hatched, what's that square footage on the plan?
That was in my report,
I
I
know.
put it on plan, okay.
Yeah, DEP usually requests it on the plan. I would put that on the plan. Also estimate the amount of buffer zone impacted, and that ranges from the from the wetland line to the 100-foot buffer zone. That was disturbed, and how
Okay.
much of the buffer zone is being proposed as part of this?
Okay.
As restoration.
Yeah, I did just check,
I don't feel on much home because I feel that. And I didn't pick up the packet, evidently got, it must have come in after, because I didn't know nothing was here. And I couldn't get out on this, I don't know what I'm looking at. right?
Okay,
So
so
I'm
then,
just gonna have to defer to what's.
so what we can do is we're providing comments and review now. The commission can also follow up with notes. If they want to, based on this discussion, go out and visit.
Yeah, is it okay to go up on that piece of property to?
They have an open violation on record now, so I would definitely, if you want to walk around the property, you can let me know, I can meet you on site, and I can certainly let Alyssa and our property owner know.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't go on, well, I didn't know how to get on, but also I didn't want to go private property to go.
That's fine.
Yes, I'm happy to walk you through.
So maybe we can schedule something, as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think, okay, Diane, you better want to go there.
I would like to go out.
Okay.
It's really good.
It is a bigger violation, and it's not just a single family house.
Right.
No, I mean,
I mean, I think generally speaking, the thing is, we would need a lot more plantings, a lot more information, and certainly some sort of a more diverse plant than just blueberry and.
Well, like I said, I usually design my wetland restoration mitigation based on what the adjoining wetland. Has in terms of vegetation diversity,
Well, that makes sense.
it's predominantly buckthorn.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to include that, but it won't be other shrubs will vary and still that.
It'd be nice to get some diversity and then maybe introduce it to the area, you know, too, so, but anyhow, as I said, I have been out, so.
And I did just double check my calculations, so. The 12 plantings is denser, it's in between 15 feet on center and 20 feet on center in terms of the density of plantings, which is standard practice for wetland mitigation sites, so.
You know, what is the size of this?
got 4,000 square feet.
I don't know, and so that's one of our comments is to add the square footage of estimated BVW impact. Again, estimated overall buffer zone between the wetland boundary and 100-foot buffer zone boundary.
Yeah.
Impact, and clearly show what areas of buffer zone are gonna be restored. With conservation wildlife, loam and seed, conservation wildlife seed mix and plantings, basically a table for buffer zone restoration as well.
Yeah, and that's all typical that we usually see. Right,
And then the notes should, if they don't already, include, monitoring during restoration by a wetlands professional. And then also acknowledge that this post-construction monitoring for 2 full growing seasons. And that's with, 4 reports.
yeah, that all, it's typical of what we do, so that's good.
We can get this all documented in a formal, enforcement. And your review.
Would it, so in terms of next steps and timing. You're looking for revisions and the site visit. And then another meeting for discussion or?
I'll submit a revised plan with all the notes from today and then, you know, unless there's substantial comments.
No, I mean.
We can schedule a site visit, for this week or next week, early next week, if the commission would like to, we'll schedule that with you as well. I can propose 2 different days, time.
And then this would be part of the next meeting. If we can. Yeah, that was 9:02. Basically.
Sorry, I don't know the appropriate term, is it, may I have a comment on, we are the buyer of the property?
Excuse me, just identify yourself.
Hi there, good evening, my name is Denny Whitten with Juniper, we're the purchaser of the property. You know, we've been working with Isabel, thank you for your cooperation, and, you know, we're really hoping to leave tonight with approval of this wetlands mitigation plan. There's not been enforcement order that's been issued, and if we have a continuance, another hearing, that will fundamentally impact the transaction, that's not okay.
With all due respect, there were emails exchanged with the property owner explaining what would be required. And that was back in June.
Yeah,
Early
I'm not here to speak to that, I just.
No, but with all due respect, we've been working and wanted to get the input from the commission before we issued a formal enforcement. And this plan is not adequate for the degree of disturbance on site, which is why the commissioner is commenting on it.
I understand you guys are all doing your job, servants. Is there a possibility that Alyssa could modify the plan here, initial it, ask you what you need in terms of planting density? And get forward with your approval or conditional approval, subject to a site visit? Can we proceed with the transaction?
I, for one, as a member of the commission, would not feel comfortable given the extent of this violation and, you know, this isn't just, you know, a little fill in somebody's backyard. This is actually protecting you as the owner, you know, future owner of the property and what you're getting out there. So, from my perspective, I would not be willing to sign off on a plan at this point because there's too much missing information. I mean, Alyssa's going in the right direction and I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
she's fair.
Well, yeah, she's doing, you know, we're getting there, but we still need a lot more well, for me personally, to approve anything. and
Yeah, you
want
guys need to
us
see it, so it seems like that.
And you should want us to do this.
Yeah,
As
no,
a future owner.
we were hoping to,
Yeah,
you know, come tonight, it seemed like there was really great cooperation between both sides, but the option if things got mixed up.
But you're not doing the work, right? You're not paying for it, doing the work?
Yeah, that's between us and the seller, we're collaborating on the work that's underway.
Well, that's why I was wondering why you're so.
We're focused on the timeline. So for our ability to close, we need this unresolved issue to be resolved or a way forward.
Like, if you
Obviously,
go back and talk to your, the other owner and say, why did you drag your feet?
yes, I'm not really here to point blame or, you know, I'm here to solve the problem, if that's,
Holding up millions of dollars.
what's that?
It's holding up millions of dollars.
Yeah, I know, I think it's.
And
both
finding
buyer and
rates,
sellers.
no, it's hard to use, too. I get it.
So we are happy to, Alyssa work with the mission and all as well.
But I don't think, Isabel, you explained a lot, and you and us, you know, see, you know, we can't really do by certain, without, as long as I'm on the property. Yeah, I can, when I get out there, it's be a group. And it would go to Stanford, we look at much more plantings and we want.
Well, I get it, you're looking for more plantings, but I haven't heard exactly what would be the, you know, the density or the quantity, because I wouldn't have to go back and forth. It's
All right,
like,
that is
I provided what is typical for my best profession, you know, my professional judgment of restoration that I do for wetland. And buffer zone, and, yeah, I agree that we can all benefit off the zone and happy to to administratively, agree to that this evening. I think a lot of the other comments are just information that was included, either in note form or it's written form in the document, and it's just not on the site plan. So I don't think that we're trying to mislead everybody in terms of identification of resource areas or anything like that.
Can the commission, at least by looking at the plan, or even the aerial that's attached in the Epsilon report, maybe offer them some guidance on what kind of buffer zone restoration you would expect? Are you expecting just the 25 foot to be restored, or are you expecting the full buffer zone restoration to be restored? Or at this time, you would defer to that until you do a site visit?
I think that's why I would see it out there.
Okay,
I just think if I.
but the expectation is that you want buffer zone plantings.
Yeah,
Some-
I really, yeah, exactly. I mean, I just don't know how severely impacted it is because I can look at this, but, I don't. You know,
Okay, there's no trees or shrubs out there right now, as far as herbaceous vegetation.
well, we definitely would want some shrubs and. Wouldn't you suggest a couple of trees, really, at this point, or not? If just shrubs and, are you saying trees?
For buffer zone restoration.
Yeah, normally we have.
Go with your-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
Project.
do that.
There is some ledge out there, so I'm not entirely, I don't wanna overly commit to trees and survivability without knowing what the bedrock situation is.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it out there, there's some very large boulders. Just on the hillside adjacent, as well as sticking up to the ground pole. So that's, that was one of the main concerns about proposing shrubs and trees in that area is survivability. It's just.
Good to know.
Were they, boulders that were put there, or?
No,
It's just
existing,
existing.
yes.
They grew there.
The glaciers put it there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks.
Yeah, and what you kind of can't get a good idea of, it's a very, it's a sloped property, but it's been, it's tiered, so.
Yeah.
This area is on the upper tier. There's two secondary tiers, so it drops down in elevation about 25 feet. Property down. This area is about 12 feet higher in elevation than the buildings themselves. So it's a little bit, it's a very odd.
It is, it's.
Yeah.
Complicated,
It's- yeah.
Alright. Okay, so then what we'll do is I'll reach out, we'll coordinate, just. Propose 2 different dates, 2 time blocks that the applicant and the owner and Epsilon can. Pick from, you can do a site visit, assess the site.
Yeah.
Get your notes and stuff, and then get me individual notes from each commission member, so we shouldn't really discuss it outside of this meeting. For open meeting, laws.
Yeah.
But you can give me your individual notes and I can pass that on. If that will move things on, but this is dated August 28th. This is your first meeting. In September.
Well, we'll make an effort to get out as soon as.
Yeah, is it helpful if we flag the trees where they're currently shown in the plan, so that the extents of the wetland areas, the pink flags, right?
Yeah, everything's still,
Yeah.
everything's flagged out there.
Flag, but would you like to see where the proposed shrubs are with a different flag that you can visually see it better? I'm just trying to help us
Yeah.
all get it right.
I
It
think
is,
it's critical.
and
that
to
the
your point, it
100-foot
is a
buffer
tricky
zone-
site to understand.
100-foot buffer zone needs to be staked out in the field, and the 25-foot needs to be staked out in the field, and the 50-foot.
The 100 foot is painted out there with painted
Great.
as the boulders.
It's painted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, there's some white spray paint up there. I don't know.
So that-
Think about that.
Yeah. So the 50-foot should be marked in the field too, just because it's, delineates where the inner buffer zone kind of ends, and then the 25-foot buffer zone should be marked in the field.
How would you like it?
You can just do stakes, right on the stake, 25. 50-foot on the side, it's just a view, 25.
No, that's in 25.
Is the area, the proposed restoration area, is that staked out there?
The limit, the approximate limits of the wetland to be restored are pin flag, yes,
That's the R series.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good, yeah.
Okay, that would be something. So just, we'll go out there tomorrow, so we can get you guys up. We're at 25 foot buffer, 50 foot buffer, 100 foot buffer, no trees, but that's already stable. Yeah, pink flag, so we'll flip off the old plate, stays. So right off.
And I think the other key part to the plantings is we might have to be flexible in planting availability and making sure that there's sufficient quantity. You know, for the select.
Yeah, I just was out there, we were saying, it doesn't shock you if there's goldenrod or something already growing,
Oh,
I see how it
yes,
does.
yes,
You know,
yes, I agree.
it may not be like the Sahara Desert like I'm picturing it, so, you know.
You know,
Question.
that provides fantastic, you know, kind of like dry meadow habitat as well.
Yeah.
The pollinators.
Yeah.
Having a great day.
Yeah, that's good. Good, so, all right, then we'll get out soon, we'll get out notes.
Okay, I'll be on standby.
And, I mean, we can do, I'll try to look tomorrow, if we can do another one of the.
Well, I want to make sure that we have those buffer zones already marked out for you, so I know you're
I
gonna
didn't
get
get
out
the
there.
first thing.
All right, now wait.
Third foot page.
Maybe like Thursday or something.
Well, he's saying he can do it first thing
Do it
tomorrow, so,
We're gonna throw out 2 dates.
All right.
So they have one and so on, if they wanna be on site.
Yeah.
All right, make sure it sounds like it's another video.
Great.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So what happens next? This
And then-
continuous until the next hearing, or is conditional upon the site visit?
There really isn't a formal continuance, it's not a formal hearing, it's under administrative matters. So I'll follow up with any comments that the commission has from their site visit.
I'm just trying to figure out the time part of it is the meetings that are 2 weeks.
Yes.
So we do a visit on these 2 dates, take everything, come see it.
I'll
Make the
create
notes,
a call.
put notes on the plans and come back to you.
And
that could be done outside of the meeting with some administrative notes or hearing, and then we can listen to it.
yeah, unless there's a big disagreement on the revisions on the plan or lack of cooperation on comments provided by the commission, then you wish to come to another meeting to discuss that.
yeah, and I would note that the property owner is, it's listening on to other things, so. But, thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
your time.
Next on the agenda, it's under miscellaneous updates. We did forward the corrective action plan submitted by the volunteers of the disc golf course. Kind of friends of the disc golf course, I think, who really take care of the place. Brian King is here, and I think that I see Mike Parker.
I had to run for his daughter, so he's.
Oh, that's okay. But the commission does have a copy and I emailed it as well. But one of the comments that I received was given that this no formal, approval for installation of this golf course within the buffer zone to wetland or near or within buffer zone or wetland resource areas. As part of the construction of this golf course, it resulted in a new wetland crossing, and whenever there's a new wetland crossing, and it's really mostly the wetland crossing means foot traffic to get to another, what do you call it? Pad,
Yeah.
fairway.
Oval, keypad.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Just think golf.
The T-pad and, one of the comments received on the corrective action plan was, what alternatives did they assess for that new crossing? And Brian did update the corrective action plan to address that. Brian, if you could just briefly review that and actually you received, and the input you received from Mary, the wetland scientist, who kind of reviewed wetland resource areas on the property. and that input that you discussed on site as well.
Yeah, let's see, so, yeah, when we were looking at it, it was mostly just, about,
Which page do you want?
so this. Oh, page.
Crossing design criteria, if you go to area 5. It says fairway 4 and 5 crossings.
Yeah.
Pages. So yeah, the criteria really were trying to minimize the impact on the wetland resource and also making a trail that people will follow. Like, we can't build too many walls to keep people from going the right direction. So like currently the people on the using the course are being directed over this new crossing. Cause the crossing is only, I think, let's see, 40, sorry, I should have reread this, only crosses about 16 feet of wetlands and then a small chunk that's about 8 feet. Where the original crossing was really going right through the heart of it, with a crossing that was about 66 feet. Or sorry, 55 feet. So when we're designing the path, we want a path that people will actually follow without too many directions or barriers. And minimizing the impact on the resource. So the two main, if you look at the map, the sort of original path was one alternative that we had. Which is to just go through the sort of the widest path in the area. And then when in a site visit with Isabel, we talked through a few of the options, and this was the path that we came up with where we could cross in a much more narrow spot. I was talking about building a bridge through here, and Isabel goes, why don't we just go over there? And I think that's was good feedback, much less of an impact to the site.
As long as you feel that it is feasible and doable and people will see.
Yes.
Provided this additional signage, so this works.
Yeah, so the wetland or the area has filled in to a good degree with leaves and some plants and, you know, it's spring, so vegetation's there. When we first did the reroute, I had to drag a lot of dead logs over the trail to make a visual barrier. And I believe there might be some motorcycle or bike riders, mountain bike riders that cleared it out because I dragged the logs back onto the trail about 3 times. And whenever I went back out there, there were a few times I noticed bike tracks. That seems to have stopped about 6 months ago. Everything is pretty settled and it looks like the new trail is taken. But it's definitely something that we are keeping our eyes out for and things like that. So yeah, I was just sort of documenting that general thought process. I'm not positive that that covers every or all of your questions. And I'm also very embarrassed to have missed the original presentation of this document. So if you guys have any questions or concerns about other areas, I'd be glad to talk to them. I think one of the other things that came up is some restoration plantings in a few spots. So we've bought some seed mixes for this area to spread and fill back in with the guidance of the Mary Trudeau, who did the wetlands delineation. And it's been a while, I'm gonna read through here.
While you look at that, Brian, Christina just alerted me that Parker has his hand raised. You might want to say a few words while look at that.
Perfect.
That will help you 2 seconds.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Let me see if I can get the volume up just a little bit more. I don't know if they're gonna be able to hear you, but you can try.
I just wanted to, listen to Brian, and if I could answer any questions, I wanted to be, brought into the meeting. That's why I had my hand up.
If you have any questions, he just has his hands up.
He's available to answer any questions as well, in addition to Brian. Brian, if you wanted to get that too, if you want to also give the commission a verbal update as to briefly what's occurred out there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if anyone's been out there anytime recently, but Troop 55 had an Eagle Scout project. I think it was 3 weekends ago, and we built I think it was I forget what the final length was.
Just about 80.
Just about 80, he said.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little short of that, but a nice big boardwalk. We used the boardwalk guidance that's in this document that was developed by Acton. And they used it to really generate a great default boardwalk installation. And it came out really great. It's a tank, it's not going anywhere anytime too soon. So it was great to have Troop 55 installed. Fun backstory is Mike talked to Troop 55 about giving them the boardwalk project for an Eagle Scout project. And then a month later, my son decided to join the troop. So it wasn't my boardwalk project, and then it became my boardwalk project again. So we had a great time installing it, and it's exciting to get CJ closer to his Eagle Scout project or badge. And then that's about, we have all of the materials for the boardwalks specified in design B for the fairway 4 to 5 crossing. All those materials are by soccer fields, and we're ready to install them, approving, pending approval and things like that. And we are working through a few designs for the the rebar stake approach sort of flipped over, so we're going to use some of the materials that were reclaimed by the removing the old boardwalk to install there. But the drainage swale part crossing on area 4 is not wetlands crossing. It is part of the work done to when they installed the upper soccer field. And Mary Trudeau, I believe, noted that in her delineation report, but I'm not positive I understand.
That was attached to the original document.
Yeah, okay, great.
So right now, what purpose of today's meeting, Brian giving you an update is, commission did ask, okay, so a new crossing was kind of created, and that crossing is actually shown on the photographs. Brian did a good job at the Scary 5 fairway. Right, Brian, that first photo was a red jacket.
Yep.
As part of the original work, the crossing was through the widest or a wider part of the wetland. Upon our site visit together, the area does become very dry over the summer and even probably fall. It's just wet really during the spring where there's it's really just wet.
Yeah,
in
and
the spring. It's not obvious to some in the summer. Let's put it that way. So upon our review and my review of the wetland delineation by Mary, we agreed that it could be shifted to an narrow part of the wetland. And again, this is really foot traffic, and what Brian is proposing is option boardwalk A, correct, and boardwalk, a combination of boardwalk A and boardwalk C, correct?
It's design B. I'm realizing that my map image is a little bit confusing because I reused A and B incorrectly. I should have used numbers for some. there are two boardwalks that are being installed, and that is the A boardwalk and the B boardwalk.
Yeah, the B is right at the finger of the wetland, just a small finger.
Yeah,
And it's only, what, 8 feet?
yeah, there's a 8-foot and a 16-foot section.
And that's actually to make it, a little bit safer on even ground, I believe there too. It's not a
Yeah,
impact, really, and it's raised. And then the 16-foot section right, is the part where you're talking about A, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 16, this is 8.
Do any trees need to be taken down?
No,
Good.
we talked extensively about that, and it could be installed with ease for the troop.
Yeah.
And the volunteers.
Yeah.
And regarding the swale that Brian briefly mentioned, yeah, we verified it is not a wetland, it's just a very odd area, clearly disturbed and excavated as part of the soccer field stuff that was before my time.
Yeah.
Um,
That's not permitted, I have to let you know, I, that's not gonna include you guys.
that has nothing to do with Brian or me.
But, work is being done.
But it's basically, it is a critical point of access, and they have alternatives that they can do there, and it's really just addressing safety. So I'm on board, and I think the commission would support, as long as it's safe and user friendly for the volunteers, then I think the commission would generally support it. As far as the 16-foot boardwalk and 8-foot boardwalk, based on my review, based on Mary's review, based on Brian, who uses the course exclusively, although not exclusively, but extensively, along with Mike Parker and other folks. I would recommend that as the solution for this new crossing. I think they did a lot of work at, on the corrective action plan.
And in terms of that original crossing, that, is there any proposal for any plantings in there, or is it not
It's not
necessary?
necessary, it's growing in just fine, and I believe even when I was out there, it was already kind of smooth, right?
Yeah.
Leaves and.
Yeah, the leaves have filled in.
Yeah,
I
the
was,
herbaceous cover's coming in as well.
we did get, seed mix to spread around in there just to make sure that things, go back as well as they can. Mary recommended a seed mix from.
New England Wetland.
Yeah.
It's good quality.
Yeah, so there's actually 2 spots on the site that will be spreading that where the course impacted the wetlands. This is the primary site, like this is where there's the biggest impact. And then also in area 2, the fairway entrance. So there was a lot of disturbed, like there was an area where the original tee pad was that got pretty disturbed and is pretty close. And you can tell that there's there could be some new plants growing there.
And then, just real quick too, as part of that, the first time you review the corrective action plan, a few comments that did come up was signage out there, and we can help you with some of the signage.
Yeah.
And I think an opportunity to apply for maybe a grant, or I don't know if there's any money left over from CPC, but a sign about golf course, the disc golf course etiquette and rules and regulations.
Yeah.
At the entrance. Just because a lot of people do use the area, the existing trails that connect to SVT land, Sudbury Valley Trustee. Been used for nature, observation, nature, just enjoying a walk.
Yeah.
The forest, and I think there's, to.
Yeah,
avoid
definitely, there's
safety collision type stuff.
there is a lot of courses have a similar sign based on that, so there's some great language already worked up for it that we can that I can get, and we can work on a sign for that.
I would put something together and present it to, or submit it to us, and I can review it with the commission. That should also include being mindful of wetland resource areas as well.
Okay.
And sticking to, established foot trails for the disc golf course.
Yeah.
So that's just something in the future. This is the critical work up front, and it looks like you're ready to rock and roll on the additional work. So this is if with the commission's review and approval and feedback.
Well, I was interested in signage, but I think we had mentioned that, you weren't able to come, I think, the first time we discussed some of this, but. Not the big paper signs, but they did knock down. but-
Definitely,
Yeah.
those were, I printed out, because I wanted to redirect the traffic.
Right,
And, we can get good signs out there
right,
for,
which
for
we can
weapons.
help you with the signage.
Yeah.
We could also, or it could be another, maybe younger Cub Scouts or something, like your project, but who knows, but.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I've walked several times, and the streams are all down and.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah,
you
the strings, I think, served a good purpose to redirect people originally, but having been out there recently, like, it really is filling pretty nicely.
As you said, but I was on, I guess, when you come off the road is, that's either, let's see, this, what, 2, 3, 4, so I don't think it's 5, but 4, is that the one that has the, like you said, I think the bikes are coming down, go right through the what?
Yeah, where we're looking
Yeah.
at putting
because
boardwalks.
signs,
Yeah, yeah.
That's, that one, you gotta figure out something in that area. It isn't, I don't think, what I saw that day was sort of that spike, it wasn't. I did see one man running through it with his golf clubs, but,
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
I didn't say anything. And then my husband and I are up on where one is, and you can go up to where the picnic tables are, and you'll build that cool dragon.
Yeah,
I don't know
right,
what it is.
yeah, that was, there's a big deaf community that plays disc golf, and they had a tournament there.
Oh, is that what it was?
And they made that because there was a tree that fell down and was sort of an eyesore, so.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, but, that's kind of a iffy spot, you get the baskets on the other picnic tables, my
Yeah.
husband got whacked up the top of the head. And so.
Right.
It was teenagers, and, you know, they didn't need it, it's still, it's.
No, definitely, no.
So, I mean, I don't know what the protocol is with that, but, you know, as you're teaching the younger kids, I think we really instill the protocol. that
Yeah. Yeah, and
if you Scare somebody that's somebody yelling. at
one thing that there's also in a lot of courses is little signs that say flying discs,
Yeah.
you know, because it's not always obvious. Like, you're aware that there was a disc golf course, but
Yeah,
a lot of people that first enter the woods are just gonna walk back by the sign, and they're not really gonna pay that
Yeah.
much attention,
it should
so.
be honest to the person doing the.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely, but I think it's good. Learning, I know younger people are getting involved, and this is a good chance.
Yeah.
Like any sport, really.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah, I looked at it, I think this is gonna be an improvement.
I need,
I'm
ready.
And so you built one new, residence.
Yeah,
Which one is that?
that's the primary entrance.
Number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
Yeah, great. I'll go and look at it.
Yeah, it's good craftsmanship. They got a lot of good people to support the project. I think we had about 20 people on build day. And we can't do it out in the fields.
Yeah,
It was a good project, and it came out really good.
very nice.
And that was all of the funds for that was paid for with CPC.
Yeah. Good. Well, this will be a good improvement.
Yeah.
On the trail, that's what you should do.
Anyone else have any comments? We just have a-
I need my pillow.
I have a few other things I need to add, that's why I'm listing these items.
I'm set.
Here's some there.
I'm all set.
Do you have all the direction we need? And it looks like the commission, are you unanimous for them to proceed with the corrective action plan?
Yeah.
So maybe you guys can take a vote on that? Yes, I'll take a vote.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the BVP corrective action plan as presented by Mr. King, is that right? And that the commission grants permission for the work to proceed as.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
That's the revised plan dated.
There is no date on it.
Okay, so that's the revised plan presented at the 9/8 meeting. We need this, if you could revise it with the date and we'll have it on.
And I'll send a copy to you.
Just,
Yeah, okay, great.
thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Good night.
It just.
Thank you,
sorry.
everyone.
You know that thing works?
Okay, so 616 Middlesex Turnpike. That is the old Irish American. site, that is owned by,
As the.
owned by various owners since the old Irish American and, the owner had allowed, the contractor for the Middlesex Turnpike project to use it as a staging site, and then I believe it kind of
Went to town.
exploded from there, where, it was being used for other projects as well. Board of Health, we teamed up with the Board of Health, who's been great. We've met with the owner on site a number of times. It was illegal dumping that was occurring. People were accessing the site, dumping mattresses, shingles, construction debris all along the wetland edge, which is also FEMA floodplain. A lot of that has been removed. You'll see that the site's been discontinued from being used as a construction operation, staging and stockpiling. In fact, there's an abandoned trailer, a bunch of just debris around the building outside of resource areas, but Board of Health's been dealing with that. Good news is a lot of progress is being made, but part of the corrective action plan is to block off the entrance, add signage, and make it a secure place to prevent illegal dumping again. That responsibility falls on the owner to secure the site. So that's great on that. Something that's come up that's a little, that is time sensitive under miscellaneous updates is that the 2025 roadway management that you approved for DPW that included the Middlesex Turnpike project and other roads. There's extra funds that they need to do, and I would like to say PJ Albert did replace that culvert as part of your emergency certificate recently on Middlesex, and they've since removed the construction staging area that was along the overhead utility easement. It looks fantastic. Mike and I inspected the culvert. They did great work. DPW of the town has leftover money and they can pave 3 areas of 3 dead end areas off of Middlesex Turnpike. And you can pass these down. The figures are in the back. There's multiple figures, but one area focuses on Dolan and Haiti Lane off Middlesex Turnpike. The other area focuses on Great Elm Road, Pearl Road, and Tremont Road, and Cherry Road. They're all kind of dead end roads. And then the other area is Hardman Road. DPW, I've inspected those areas with engineering department, who again has been working very hard on this effort. This just came up on Friday. So if you have extra funds as a town and an opportunity to repave these areas, the work is limited to mill and overlay. They will install sediment control at the limit of work where work falls within the 100-foot buffer zone. There's no culvert crossings in these areas. And they initially used GIS to map out where wetlands could be. It was way off. And even they recognize that. Green engineering is actually far more accurate. But we've also field verified and they've accounted for all the straw wall that they need to install. They're going to update these figures for the record before the paving starts. They have enough funds to squeezing it in. So with your permission, they're sending this as an email for a request for minor modification, kind of field change. That they'd like to do. The contract is available to do the work next week. The other thing though, on Middlesex Turnpike, where Macozy Beach is?
Yeah.
There's a culvert right there. Okay, goes to Marshall? Marshall.
Yeah.
Marshall is the inlet and the outlet is right next to the Macozy Beach parking lot. That culvert was submerged and they explained it fully on this email that we just received right before the meeting. We had a meeting about it earlier today, but it was fully submerged, meaning underwater. So what can happen? What does that mean? It's filled with sediment, so maybe it needs to be jetted. We need to wait till groundwater and water elevations are lower. That happened this summer and working with Christina Papadopoulos, your stormwater engineer, and highway. They did use the vacuum truck on the upland side, on the inlet side and outlet side. And there's a lot of sediment on the outlets, which is basically the part from Middlesex Turnpike to Nuggets Lake. It runs along the Nicosi Beach parking lot. Based on the pictures and our discussion with DPW, which included Kelly, Antonio Fernandez, and Brandon Gentile and stormwater engineer Christina. I believe a lot of that source of sedimentation is coming probably from the Nicosi Beach parking lot and sand and so forth. So I think DPW is looking at this at the bigger picture. They need to replace that culvert. It's actually, now that it's exposed, it's corrugated metal and it's crushed. I think I have a picture here. So as part of this work, they will also be submitting a request for an emergency. So the good news is they just need to replace the pipe. They will not touch the head walls. They don't need to. They're actually very well intact. I have to say, if it's the same contractor, PJ Albert, they do an amazing job. They've been doing a great job, and with the oversight by the engineering staff. So I would recommend, I plan to approve that because they need to. It's kind of a big area, Middlesex Turnpike, can't really afford to have a collapse, basically anywhere, but that's a major road. And then in the meantime, DPW engineering department is going to assess the condition. I think there's 2 catch basins in the Nicosi parking lot. Assess the condition, when were they last inspected? They're part of their routine maintenance and cleaning, but maybe those need to be cleaned out far more often. Maybe they need a deep sump hood and maybe other improvements that can minimize the amount of sediment. I believe there's probably gonna be some mosquito control work probably that's gonna be required because the elevation is huge. From where the culvert end is to the amount that they scooped up from the road, it's so deep. Eventually, they might need that, and the good news is they always coordinate with us, mosquito control as well. But I plan to go ahead and approve that emergency cert. That work is gonna be performed at the end of next week.
And what about the road repair, the road with milling and overlay? Do you need a motion to accept them, to determine it a minor alteration?
Yeah, I mean, you should in order, and there's no impact to resource areas. I would accept it as a minor modification.
And that's, I can say that's the 2025 the road.
Minor modification for that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the work as described by Isabel to do mill and overlay on the roads as a minor modification to the 2025 Townsville River roadway management work.
All in favor?
Who did the second? All right, great. And then with minutes, I did receive some, sorry, I'm gonna move on now, right? I'm getting looked at, the meeting minutes of 6/9/2025. Diane did submit, edits. No. Jeff already gave me a dirty look.
He wants a pillow.
I just need my pillow or something.
6/9/2025, I did receive some minor edits, just, no content related from Diane, and Joanne had looked at those previously, and so she really just didn't have any comments, so I respectfully request the commission approve those.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of 6/9.
Yeah.
6/9/2025.
Second.
All in favor?
So I have Joanne and Jeff,
Jeff.
okay, great, and then.
Jack.
7/14, I didn't have a chance to send that out yet, but that will be forthcoming. So maybe table those to the next one, okay?
Adjourn it,
Great.
Jack.
With that, I think we
9
had
o'clock,
everything
adjourn.
I like.
Motion to adjourn,
What time is it?
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 PM on the button.
Who's that?
Second.
Who seconded?
All in
I
favor?
didn't say it.
Jeff Cornell, and who second?
Jack. Oh, hold on, we're saying 2 people seconded. Who seconded?
Jack did.
Okay.
That's you.
You should come back. Oh, Joanne's here, or Diana.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We have a sign still.
We good, Christina?